Hello, everyone. Welcome back. How are you doing? It is Monday. This is moving forward. I hope you had a good weekend, a restorative one. I hope you managed your stress as well as you could. My weekend was okay. I did some cleaning. I did some late spring cleaning. I did a lot of introspection, self-reflection, came to some conclusions, had some mini revelations about myself, about everything, really. I we have a few things to talk about. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, as usual. The energy feels like it still feels the same to me. Sort of just we are suspended in the air and watching these things unfold. Some of us impatiently, some of us horrified, some of us just like, oh, okay, yeah. While trying to live is, what we have to do. We have to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, okay, our loved ones, people we trust and are close to. Check in with ourselves, make sure we are doing okay emotionally, physically. My thoughts. So I'm sure all of you heard about Joe Biden. Unfortunately, he has prostate cancer. I did see something few last week before perhaps, when I saw something about him, and I said to myself, I saw something, I remember reading something, and then I was laying in my bed, and I was like, oh, as I always do, I always think about where we are and what I've been told and things like that. And I was like, he won't be able to return for some reason. I said it out loud. But Kamala would. And I said that out loud. But I kind of just dismissed, not that I dismissed it, but I just did what I do. Went back to, didn't think deeper on it, why I said that out loud. I do that sometimes. I say these things out loud, and they could be predictions, or they just could be, the energy flowing. But anyway, it's terrible. And, I will pray for him. I hope you will pray for him. It's not, that could be the tower that I saw in the reading I did last week. And that was very emotional. The energy didn't feel good, that tower. That could be what the news was, that I said would be Sunday, Monday. But, we'll see how the rest of the week goes. I'm sure he's going to get the care he needs. Someone asked me to channel him. I won't do that. For now, I just, man, cancer's terrible. But I will pray. I will pray for his healing, okay? Man. I was about to say something, and I'm trying to curb those kind of thoughts, so I won't say it. But anyway, I want to do a reading that's a little bit different. And it's not really that different, but maybe, I don't know. I want to talk about what spiritual impacts and influences is this crisis having on the collective. And I want to, ask a few questions regarding that, because what I'm starting to see, I see, long time ago I said when he frauded himself. Well, also, everything I say here is for entertainment purposes only. Everything I say here is for informational purposes only. Everything is alleged. Also in the comments, they're alleged, okay? Anyway, when he frauded himself into the White House, I said, the most feeling I felt was everything's going to have the reverse effect. And I said that a lot. And even before this all happened, I said, no one wants him. No one wants this man's energy, and what he wants to do. No other, when it comes to diplomacy and foreign relations, it's just no one really wants to deal with him. And so, that idea of everything is having this reverse effect, this response where people are saying absolutely not. And you see it in the elections in other countries. Canada and Australia and Romania, even Poland, which is very interesting. Those countries, more and more people are like, we see what's going on over there, and they're learning a lesson through this mess. And so I wanted to explore us and the world at large, and what impact, what's the outcome, what is happening here, because I think it's important. Okay, so I want to do that. But before we get into it, someone emailed me about a project of theirs, but I want to quickly talk about, her name is Ava Marie Scott, okay, and she has a YouTube, but she has a passion project that she started, being inspired by her mother, who would visit nursing homes during Christmas time. And she says, I'm beyond grateful to share my latest project, a picture book featuring selections from my paintings collection. Designed with love and care, specifically for those in assisted living, nursing homes, and memory care centers. Okay, and her art is very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful, and I really like the idea of this. Her YouTube is called Art Focus by Ava Marie Scott. So please go over there and subscribe to her. I will pass along her information. I'll leave a link down there so you could contact her if you're interested. Okay. It's a really interesting process that she does. So if you have any questions for her, you could also ask more about that. But I'll put the link down to her YouTube page where she shows her art. She actually shows the Art with Love picture book. Is very, very beautiful. I love her paintings. So please go check her out. Please subscribe to her. Please support her. Okay. Also, please subscribe to the Indigo Corner. We're trying to get him to 500. He's almost there, Dr. Ken. He does really great videos, very talented, very creative, very intuitive, empathic. Please check him out. He's really good. Okay, subscribe. All right, so if you want a personal reading from me, you can click more in the description of this video, and the link will be there. Or you can email me, moonlightergy15@gmail.com, and I will send you the link. And also, thank you for those of you who have been supporting my sister's art business as well, Creative Canvas. Those of you who have been asking for custom-made trays and custom-made other custom-made resin crafts, I appreciate it. I'll also put the link down there if you're interested. Check her out. She's very talented. She does regular paintings, fluid art, and resin crafts. I don't know how she does it, but it's pretty amazing. I mean, I do know how she does it, but it's just like, it's hard to wrap your mind around how creative people can be when it comes to art. It's just very, very fascinating to me. All right, so I think we can start. We can start something. Let's jump into it. Oh, before I actually, what is going on with this? Before I jump into it, I did some scrying yesterday, and I hadn't done scrying in a long time. I hadn't done it in so long. And I did some meditating. Actually, I did a lot of meditating this past weekend. And I did some scrying because I just have been feeling, I was meditating rather because I've been feeling out of sorts. Out of sorts in a way where I just feel very scattered. There's nothing in particular going on, but I've been feeling very scattered, and I needed to understand what was going on. But anyway, my guides told me you need to get your root chakra in order, and that's what I've been trying to do through meditating. And your root chakra, it has a lot to do with how you stay organized and grounded. And if you struggle with anxiety and that's out of whack, it's more intense, that sort of thing. And so that's only part of it, but that's how it's affecting me. Very having to ground myself and be present. I've just been sort of all over the place. And so in doing that, I was able to really get some organization back. I've been told I had to clear out everything, and that's what I was doing. So anyway, I'm sort of getting off topic. Back to scrying. Back to scrying. So I asked about Donald Trump, and I said, what's going on here? What does his end look like? And I saw one, I didn't tear up, and I saw what the mirror showed me was a heart beating. He showed me a heart beating, and I'm seeing it now in my head. And there was light flashing as the heart was beating. And then it looked like, and then they showed me one side the heart was beating, and then these like neural pathways, and it looked black. And it was light going through them weakly. And the energy was weak. And then I wrote neurons fire. I said, are those neurons? And then I wrote down, or typed rather, neurons firing weakly. Okay, and so I moved on from that, and then I asked about Kamala. I said, what did I ask? I asked a couple of questions. I said, show me what her outcome is. Show me where is she going to? And there was so much action in the mirror. It was I showed me, it was so strong, the energy, and as I'm gazing in this mirror, and it showed me a crowd of people, and then it showed me someone in a black robe, okay, and I could see her but a little bit, and then it showed me, at first it looked like the universe, the constellations, and then it started taking shape again, and the energy felt very uplifting, and I looked away from the mirror for a little bit, and then I looked back, and then I saw an image of her standing and staring out a window, looking up, and she was smiling, but I could only see her outline, but I knew she was smiling. And this is going to sound strange, but her body, she's standing and looking out gazing out this window. She's gazing up, and it looked like this universe, stars, constellation. And as I'm looking at her form looked like the universe. And I'm staring at this, and I'm like, what is she looking, what window is she looking out of? And the image started to take shape, turn more brighter, like white. And then I saw white carnations, a bunch of them. And then the white carnations turned. I said, what did I ask that the image changed into white smoke? I just was like, what is that? I said, are those carnations? And then it started to, the carnation started to take shape differently. And I said, well, what is that? And it started to blur, and it changed into white smoke. And it was interesting. And so I understand white carnations, they represent purity and good luck, new beginnings. White smoke also represents the same thing, purity, good luck, new beginnings, much similar to the other visions that I saw in the mirror with her. And so I'm gonna try and expand with the cards with that when I do the reading. When I do her reading, I want to see what that meant. Well, see if the cards can tell me if I could expand intuitively on that vision. So that's what we're doing for today, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 questions I'm going to ask based off of this reading. Spiritual impacts and influences this crisis is having on us, on the collective. Okay, so questions I wrote down. Are we failing or upgrading? Okay, are we failing? Are we failing at how we are responding? Are we failing because we are in this situation? Human rights, regression or progression? What is the most important lesson from this for us? And our complete outcome? What will happen to us? Okay, so looking at the future. All right, so let's see. This is spiritual impact and influences this crisis has had on us. You guys can notice I'm at a bigger table. I'm at my desk because I just felt like a change. Alright. Are we failing or upgrading? Are we failing or upgrading? Five of Swords. Five of Swords, conflict. Knight of Swords. Fast thinking. Okay. There's some impulsivity there as well. Getting faster on the uptake. There's a lot of swords. Let's see what else. Nine of Wands. Resilience. Okay. Some resilience for us. Very nice. Very nice. King of Cups. King of Cups, compassion. King of Cups, compassion. Okay. One more. Wheel of Fortune. Destiny. Okay. Are we failing or upgrading? I think we are upgrading. Okay. Let's ask the pendulum. Let's ask Spirit. Let's see the visual. I'll put them on top of the cards for now. Are we as a collective failing? Are we as a collective failing? Okay. Glue to center. Are we as a collective upgrading? Are we as a collective upgrading? Transforming, transitioning. Okay. All right, so Five of Swords. Five of Swords is a card of conflict. It's about cutting corners, okay? It's about winning at all costs. It's about selfishness. There's always a cost with the Five of Swords. Winning at all costs are about words. Words. Winning at all costs, but at what cost? Okay? That is the ultimate question with the Five of Swords. And I think what this is saying here for the collective is the lesson of the, and it's also on the individually, it's about self-criticism, being hard on yourself, that sort of thing. Okay, and then you have the King of Swords, a Knight of Swords here, rather. Okay, and so I think for some of us, the lesson, for some of us with this crisis, I think what is being shown to a lot of people is how you process things, how we process information, how we, we can't cut corners on things, right? We can't cut corners on how we live our lives. We can't cut corners and be selfish and cheat, and we have to have integrity, and we have to a lot of times, like, this is about winning a conflict in a way that is sneaky or sometimes underhanded. You know, there's a big cost. It's always a cost here, and I think the cost is perhaps our impatience, perhaps being distracted by static, perhaps wanting things right there, right now, wanting it in an easy way, being complacent, maybe, mentally. And so the Knight of Swords is here. Knight of Swords is also sort of an impulsive energy, but there's a sharpness to the Knight of Swords. You don't cut corners with the Knight of Swords. You rather strategically ride toward the truth. You are more sharp intellectually. Okay, you what I'm hearing is that it's like being smarter and strategic in how you approach intellectual pursuits, how you approach information, how you approach your problem solving, okay, as opposed to this energy here, the Five of Swords. So this is, I feel, what we're moving out of, and you learn some lessons with the Five of Swords, okay? If you learn not to be hard on yourself, you learn not to cut corners, you learn patience, okay? You even learn how to rise above conflicts. And I think that is an impact here. I see more and more people, you think about what I'm saying here. Swords is a card of communication, and I also often associate it with social media too. Part of the Swords, okay? And I see a lot of people turning away from social media more, or just how they engage with it is different. I do still, I ventured onto Blue Sky. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay. It's not bad. But I don't necessarily, the way I engage with social media is so different. So different now. But I do see more people engaging with it differently. And I think that's part of the impact and the change. What they're looking at in their algorithm, how they're interacting with other people, you know, the internet is the internet, but I do see a change there. I think more people are tuning out more and focus more on different intellectual pursuits and just processing information differently. Okay. Nine of Wands, resilience. This is what this is giving us. This is the impact. Nine of Wands is about continuing on. It's about progression, not giving up, keep pushing forward. It acknowledges the hardships, that things are hard, things have been difficult for us, but it's really about your inner strength. It's about saying, what is it that Sojourner Truth said? We're leading, we're leading the way. Okay, God has the light, but we're leading the way. Man, that's deep. But the Nine of Wands is about that. It's about being right there, being right towards the end of these burdens, these hardships, these obstacles. You have strength. You have to keep going. You have to keep moving forward, because you too have lessons. You're carrying some lessons here. And it says, keep going. It's you're right at the end. Let the light lead you. Okay. King of Cups, more compassion, more understanding. This is pouring out of us. This is why we're upgrading. Okay. I think what's important, because the Wheel of Fortune is here, I think what my guides are telling me, it's like, with this change, learning through hardship, learning through this kind of hardship, like this kind of obstacle, or this kind of crisis rather, people always change through that. My sister's blowing her nose. People always change through that sort of, sometimes we have to face these kinds of difficulties for change. And sometimes we go back when things are great and seemingly going well for us. As a country, we kind of get in a sense of complacency. Not everyone, but we kind of get used to things being a-okay, for some of us. But with the King of Cups here, and what I'm understanding is that now this change is going to stick. Like, we've mastered something here. We've reached the king. Okay. Compassion, understanding how to interact with others, understanding how to be in the flow of life with the King of Cups, increasing your intuition, this increase in this feminine energy, empathy, a grand understanding. And it's good here because it's like an understanding down here with this Knight of Swords, and this is all strength. It's telling a story here, okay? And it has all the elements, so to speak. The Earth isn't here, but I think the most important element that we need as a society as a whole, compassion, empathy. There's this idea that people are becoming less compassionate, people are becoming less empathetic, and I could see that. But I think it just takes a lot of self-reflection. It takes a lot of awareness and mindfulness for that to pull through. Also teaching that's a whole other conversation, but teaching the younger ones more about that. And I think with this question, are we failing or upgrading? With the King of Cups coming out, we are moving into a space of compassion, self-compassion. We are, okay? Because next you have the Wheel of Fortune. Destiny. Isn't that grand? You have the Wheel of Fortune here, and the Wheel of Fortune, it's the wheel can turn either way. The wheel can turn either way with the Wheel of Fortune, and it is about luck. It's about your purpose. It's about destiny. Okay, it's about working. It says whatever you put out into the world is what you get back. Okay, so if you put good things, if you strive towards integrity and fairness and balance and making the right choices, the wheel will turn in your favor. Okay? And I think that's where we are going. Give me the ultimate card as to why we are upgrading. Let me move this over. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Why we're upgrading. Hermit. The Star. Hope. Wow. Okay, so man, the Star is about faith and hope, and to be cliched, your dreams coming true. It's about your inner guidance, finding your inner guidance, trusting yourself, moving forward, healing. That's pretty powerful as to why we're upgrading here. Out of all of this nonsense, this terribleness, these are the things that we will gain. These are the things that we need as well, to recognize that we have to use these tools. We have to have hope and faith and belief that we can get through this. It's the most important thing to remember. Okay? Next question. Human rights. Aggression or progression? Human rights. Or is it regressing or progressing? We know what human rights are, right? Human rights and social justice. Aggression or progression? Ten of Pentacles on the bottom. We have the Four of Cups. Meditation. I knew this energy was here. The Hangman. Sacrifice. Surrender. Pause. Three of Pentacles. Teamwork. Six of Pentacles. Sharing. Sharing of resources, sharing of information, give and take. Page of Wands, enthusiasm. Okay. The Four of Cups here is meditation. Four of Cups is, it could be, the question is human rights, regression or progression. So are we regressing or are we progressing? Okay. And human rights has always been an issue worldwide, especially in this country. It doesn't matter who is in the White House. Okay. But the Four of Cups here, it's a card of detachment. I often look at it as a card. It could be apathy, a don't care sort of energy, but it's also it is a card of introspection. So it may look like someone doesn't care, but they're just reflecting. They are being very introspective. And you have the Hangman here. And that's what the Hangman is about as well. Suspended, you're sort of suspended in space, time, There's a pause with the Hangman for you to sacrifice or surrender. And it's interesting that this came out in the human rights question, because I do feel that. I knew this card was going to come up, the Hangman, because there are a lot of human rights violations worldwide, yes, but this country is glaring. And so here with this energy, this sort of apathy, this pause for reflection, this introspection, this detachment, I do sense that energy. And I'm not saying no one cares. It's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying there's this feels like a suspension and progression, a pause and progression for something else to take shape, for something to be revealed, for perspectives to change, for surrender of some sort to happen. That's what the Hangman encourages. You have to surrender to something. You have to let go of something. So your perspective can change. And I often think about, just this morning I was thinking about the situation and how can we, the question I think is not necessarily how can we get out of this, or that's not the right question anymore. And because I'm beginning to understand it's not necessarily a mystery or a secret cure or a secret key. We have to surrender to this crisis and accept. And someone will say, well, I have accepted. But yes, radical acceptance or acceptance. I'm not a DBT therapist, but acceptance doesn't mean that what is happening is okay. And it means that you won't resist it, so you don't suffer. Okay, and it's an everyday commitment, and it's even something I go through because I get agitated. But anyway, that's what these two cards feel like. Okay, you're not detaching because you don't care. But it feels like in answering in the question, there's a pause here, and we are sort of observing and looking at all of these violations that is occurring more intensely in this country. So we are suspended, and there's not a lot of progression happening here, and it's happening for a reason. And the Knight of Swords is underneath this. And the Five of Swords is underneath this Four of Cups. It's very interesting how these four cards are playing with one another. Let's story-wise, okay? So yes, we are suspended. And as you move through the energy with the Three of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, what comes from this, as because the Page of Wands is here, and it says enthusiasm. Okay, Page of Wands, they bring news. They are impulsive, not in a bad way, but there's a boldness to the Page of Wands. There is a there may be something we have to learn about progression with the Page of Wands as a student, okay? Three of Pentacles is the advocacy I see here. Okay, collaboration. What does this say here on this card? I forget. Teamwork. All right, and so there's so many advocacy groups. That's what we have to pay attention to. Outside of what the government is doing, you know, outside of what we expect Congress and the Senate to do, outside of them, there's so many advocacy groups. There's so much information out there that we can learn about. And those are the ones those are the ones that are doing this work for human rights. Okay? And this is what the Three of Pentacles represents. And we have the Six of Pentacles, and I believe this is us. Giving and receiving. And this is us as a collective. Advocacy groups, and this is us, including them. Okay? And so with the Six of Pentacles is this give and take, and it makes me think about it's about charity. It's about, you know, Six of Pentacles is a card of charity. It's a card of sharing resources, sharing time, sharing information, how you spend your time, that sort of thing. And so with this here, with what we're viewing, the suspension, and this here, this is where we're falling. This is what we're falling into. Okay? To move towards this progression, that we have to look outside ourselves. Okay? That we have to share our resources with each other. We have to share our time with each other. We have to give charity. So it's really much like you see how this is how right now we are in a regression period, but it feels like it goes from 3 to 6. From 3 people, from 3 to 6 to more, from less to more as we move through here. Okay? And so the Page of Wands in this enthusiasm, it feels like a new sort of progression. New ways on how to progress. Perhaps, how do I say it? How we it feels like new determination, new passion, how we share information. That's what this feels like with the Page of Wands. Let me get one more card. Outcome in this. Will we continue to be suspended? It doesn't feel like it though. With these 3 cards. Queen of Cups on the bottom. Six of Cups. Reunion. Will definitely progress. Looking back at the past, learning from the past, bringing your past experience and skills into the present. So yes, right now we're in a regression period though. We're suspended rather. I shouldn't say we're regressing because it appears that we are, but it's a suspension and we're sort of looking at all of this. Okay. What is the most important lesson? Maybe I'll pull one card here. Two of Wands. Planning. You have the Page of Wands. Okay. The most important lesson here is planning. Implementation. Balance. Finding balance. Give me one more. How are you, implementing your plans with determination. Finding balance back. Things are out of balance. That's why it feels Ace of Swords. Breakthrough. Most important lesson. I want one more. New opportunities for intellectual expansion and growth. New opportunities on how we communicate, how we take in information, how we plan and strategize, how we communicate. One more. Full moon. They have full moon in this deck as a card. And it's harvest. Harvest time. When you think of the word harvest, what comes to mind? Abundance, growth, bountiful, groundedness, intuition with the moon here. Most important lesson. Give me one more. One more. Magician. Manifestation. We have the power. We have everything we need. We have the power to manifest. We have the authority. We have the intelligence and creativity to get through this. That can't be taken from us. our complete outcome. Our complete outcome. Ace of Cups on the bottom. Two of Pentacles, adaptability. Adapting to change in all forms. King of Swords, authority. Weighing through the truth, knowing the truth. Intellectual power, clarity, full clarity. Open communication. The Lovers, union. Giving the space to make a choice. Balance, unity, harmony. Very nice. Seven of Wands, defense. This is our complete outcome. Finding our voice again, standing our ground, asserting ourselves, showing our power and willfulness, determination, protection, boundaries. One more. I knew this was coming, the Tower. Unexpected. Some of you may be like, oh goodness. No. The Tower is, yes, destruction. This is our complete outcome. And this doesn't feel, the energy here doesn't feel bad. It just feels like I said, like I always say, when this happens, something will be a shock. Okay, we'll call it a great upheaval. But towers have to be here. Things need to deconstruct in order for something new to come in. Okay? Give me the ultimate outcome. I said the Tower is coming. But it has to come. It's the only way. Nine of Cups, satisfaction. Okay, Nine of Cups is, it's like being able to stop and smell the roses, being able to, it's contentment, harmony, satisfaction with your work, with getting through something, with, in order to get to this, the Tower needs to happen. Towers also means things shaking up. It has to shake up. It's the only way. It's the only way. For something new to be built is what we're looking for. That was nice. I'm going to get to Kamala real quick. I want to do hers very quick. But I want to show you, this is what these the words are so difficult for me today. Divine timing, the Oracle deck I pulled today, and I get the same cards. And I usually pull these and then I just I don't share them. But I want you guys to see, I get the same cards every time. Through no fault of my own, but they just happen to be the same sort of cards. And I asked, when is this ending? And these are the answers I got. Release the need to control time. Hold on. Release the need to control the situation. Time has been delayed. In the nearest future. Don't force things. Have faith. Things will unfold as they are meant to. Distract yourself from the waiting game. These are the cards. Sometimes they give me, there are certain months that come out the same always. But those are the messages that Spirit gives me, that my guides give me, okay? Like I said, timing, we need patience here, and we have to live our lives, but this won't last much, I don't see us going into the fall. I don't see that, but we'll see what happens, All right, let's look at Kamala. Let's see if they can tell me what. I'm going to use the other deck. What did that vision mean? What did it mean? Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. Sword of Truth. Intellectual expansion, growth. This feels, well, let me just, the Moon. I think I have to shuffle some more. Yeah. This isn't her card. As I recognize these cards from when I pulled them before. If it comes up again, it's her card. But no, it's not. One more shuffle. Oh, okay. Now we can see here. The Hangman. Suspended in air. She got that before. Six of Swords. New beginning. Healing. Transition. Seven of Cups. Wait a minute. Is there a flower there? Let's see real quick. Those are just drinks. I'm making a choice. Making the right choice. Being discerning. King of Pentacles. The Sun. This is the vision. I'm expanding on it with cards for Kamala. Seven of Wands. She always gets that. I'm just going to put it here. Right here. Nine of Cups. Three of Swords. Whoop. Three of Swords. Ten of Wands. Oh, that fell right out my hand. Queen of Wands. Let me see if I could get it. Oh, there it is. Ten of Wands. Queen of Wands. Two more. There's the Eight of Swords as usual. This goes over here. This goes over here, actually. King of Cups. One more. Oh, give me the overarching theme of this vision here. Seven of Pentacles. New Fool, new beginning. Why not? All right. Okay, so here we have, over here is the struggles. Feels very burdensome. Eight of Swords, Three of Swords, the Hangman, Ten of Wands, with the Ace of Swords there. Feels like this struggle I constantly see with her. And it's really not, it's almost like my first prediction about this election, past election, and this hard road, like this arduous journey she's on, that she has to be on. Because it ends with the sun here at the bottom, you know, the sun is here. And the overarching theme is new beginning and trying to get something to grow with the Seven of Pentacles and the Fool here. You know, Seven of Pentacles is nurturing your plans, your future, your security, your stability, doing things to help it grow. And the Fool is this new beginning. The road is clear for you to move forward. And you have hope and faith. You kind of take a risk without necessarily knowing where you land. But, you know, you're just like, this is where she is. There's the overarching theme of that vision. And being suspended, you know, this delay in your progress, your goals, your truth, you know, there's pain here. It feels like it's mental limitations with the Eight of Swords and feeling trapped. Three of Swords is disappointment, betrayal, pain. Ten of Wands is burden. You have to put down these burdens. Okay, so I'm trying to look back at my vision, because there was at one point where I couldn't see anything, but that could be why. It was just like in the beginning when the form started to take shape, it took a while for me to see what I was seeing. I could just see shapes that were taking some time to take form, and they were moving slowly up and down, and it looked like the universe. So perhaps that could be like event not quite taking shape yet, not forming yet, because of these delays here. Okay. It's this pain and delay and barriers and blockages. The hangman is surrendering so you could change perspective. These delays and burdensome, wanting to say something with the Ace of Swords, can't quite. There's blockages here. And then you move into the Six of Swords energy, which is transition. That's when perhaps the image started to take shape. And it's a card of healing, and you're moving into something, out of something, sort of toxic, not good for you. And you are leveling up with the Six of Swords. You're moving into a different avenue. Okay. And it's emotional healing, mental healing, clarity, and with that comes the Seven of Cups, and it's multiple opportunities, multiple choices, multiple avenues, and you have to be discerning. You have to make the right choice. And the Nine of Cups here is this let me see something really quick. Just getting some validation. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Maybe that's what the white carnations meant. It's like when you have the Nine of Cups here, it really feels like as you move, what this vision sort of meant, it's showing me her journey, right? And it's showing me this is the Queen of Wands. It's showing me like the Seven of Swords is here, and the Seven of Swords is here, and I mean not the Seven, the Six of Swords rather is here, moving next to the Seven of Cups, and like it's Seven of Cups also represents abundance. You have many choices, you have many directions to go into after being trapped for a period of time. And there's a sense of satisfaction, and that's what I felt in the energy. I wrote that in the vision, that it felt uplifting. The energy felt uplifting, I wrote in the vision. And this is what this is describing. Because as she's moving, the Knight of Pentacles, okay, the strategic, it comes up for her often as well, this slow moving sort of strategic energy. With the Queen of Wands here, you know, your determination, authority, progressing things along. And she shook the man. I saw her shake the man's hand. He had a robe. He had a black robe on. And the King of Cups on top of here. As things become clearer, like white smoke, it was, you know, this purity sort of interesting. What is this? That's the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands. This sort of balance, this balance here with the Knight, the King, and the Queen. Balancing your your power and your action with your emotions. Your intuition, being in the flow, your compassion, your drive, all balanced with this Knight of Pentacles. And she was going up steps. The more I'm like looking back at it, that's so interesting. And then you have the Sun here at the end. Abundance, enlightenment, you know, reaching your goals. That person has clothes on. I got scared for a second. Okay. And the ultimate is the Seven of Pentacles and the Fool. Making something grow as you walk into your purpose, as you move towards your purpose with the Fool. You're not quite sure where things are going, but you're going somewhere important. And it leads to the Sun. Okay? I can't say for sure. You know what? Let me ask what the energy is saying. Haven't done that in a while. Before we're finished. And then we're finished. Okay. Will Kamala Harris somehow become the sitting president for the year 2025? Will she become the sitting president for the year 2025? Saying yes. It's not swinging like crazy though. Okay. We're in a suspended moment in time. And that's what it feels like. Right now, this month, we're suspended. We are dangling in the air. There's a pause. Okay. Before we drop. I could feel it. You know, I want you guys to remember all the readings if you can, you know, I'll probably revisit, you know, when I've talked about the election, I did a reading on that, and, you know, will he be exposed? The energy said yes, those sort of things. I'm going to do a message from the universe, then we're finished. If you frequently give yourself permission to doodle, wander, and be totally unproductive, and you, I can't see. And you actually relish such interludes, I can guarantee that your genius, creativity, and productivity will increase exponentially. Okay, so some of you needed to hear that. Take a break. It's okay. One more. Your life is about to start to move quickly in some areas. Events that seem to have been on hold suddenly propel forward. Move with the flow and be mindful of what needs your attention most. It's kind of just what I was talking about. Month is over in 2 weeks. I have a very strong feeling June will be a wild ride. Anyway, that's it, guys. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Comment down below. If you've subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell. I don't know. People say that. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will explore the city of Atlantis. Okay? So if you're interested, check in. If not, that's fine. But anyway, either way, I will be there tomorrow. Like the video. Bye.